For everyone that lives in the U.S., happy Thanksgiving. If you don't live in the U.S., this is a time where we typically get together, celebrate with friends and family, give thanks for what we have, and eat a lot of food. And I know this is kind of a tough time for some people. There's kind of a running joke in crypto that when crypto is really good, all your family's asking, if they should be buying crypto. Hopefully you give good advice and you say if you believe in the long term, if you know what it is, maybe dollar cost average a small amount. But a lot of people don't really know what cryptocurrency is when you go to Thanksgiving. So then when the crypto market goes down and you see headlines like Bitcoin's down 70% or 75% throughout the year, something like that, a lot of people get nervous because they know that they're going to be given a hard time from their from their family, and their family might be asking, tough questions. So I wanted to go over a couple of those questions here today, but then also cover some of the news because Sam Bankman-Fried is apparently going to be speaking at a big speaking event. We also have more exchanges giving their proof of reserves, which I'll talk about. And then we have some Bitcoin being moved around from a big hack that happened years ago and what that could potentially mean. So what is Bitcoin? I think a lot of people will ask that on Thanksgiving. They'll ask, probably you, if you're watching this video, what is Bitcoin? And there can be a lot of different definitions of it. But for me, I think I'm just going to describe it as a digital currency which uses blockchain. That means that everyone can see what happens and it's trustless, meaning there's no third party that needs to approve transactions or take a cut. I think that's really important when you think about all the middlemen, all the entities that take a little bit of a cut or are committing fraud or are just bloated and continue to kind of plague us here and continue to take part of our money away. And I won't say that part, but I'll say that's a trustless third-party system, meaning there are no approvals. You can send it across the world in seconds and for very cheap. And next question, I think probably rightfully so, is why is it valued so high? It seems overvalued. It's worth $16,000. What gives it value? Probably nothing, right? Because it's gone down so much, and that's what people will say. For me, I think it's so obvious what gives it value. Utility and supply constraint. So it's just classic economics. Supply and demand. The demand comes from the utility that it has, that you can send it across the world in a second or less than a second, and you can store large amounts of wealth. Also, you can self-custody it, which is very valuable. That's another huge utility of it, that it can't be taken away by some third-party system if you store it in the right way. And then also, there's just a limited supply. There's only going to be so much that is essentially printed or mined over time, and you can't just have some larger entity say, no, we need to inflate it a little bit more. So then they can line their own pockets. So what gives it value? The utility and the limited supply. And then probably the last question that some people might get is, what happened with FTX? Maybe some people know a little bit about crypto, or maybe they don't know anything, but they heard that some major crypto exchange went down and a lot of people lost money. So this is a little refresher. They created a backdoor to steal money from clients and from customers. They stole $9 billion. They lied about it. They lied about FTX's solvency up until the day that they went bankrupt. They're still lying about it. They said F regulators, and they admitted their ethics were mostly for show. So they committed fraud. They committed a Ponzi. They also created their own token, which is possible, and then bloated it up. They kind of bought a small amount of it, then held the majority of it, and then caused the price to go up dramatically. And then they got loans against that. It's just crazy what they did. So just that was a little refresher on what FTX did and what they did wrong. Speaking of FTX, they just confirmed that they will be speaking, or Sam Bankman-Fried will be speaking at the New York Times conference in just a few days, less than a week away. Now, this seems incredible. They call him an investor, entrepreneur, and philanthropist. He is co-founder of FTX US, a US-based cryptocurrency exchange, and a co-founder of FTX.com, a non-US cryptocurrency exchange. Now, they have some big speakers on this at this summit, and it's crazy to me. I think this is really maybe something that you don't want to say at your Thanksgiving meal, but it's crazy to me the misinformation that we've seen in the traditional media around Sam Bankman-Fried and around FTX. They make him sound like he's just a trailblazer that just got caught up at the wrong time in the wrong area, in the wrong environment. And because of that, they were just a little bit too over leveraged or something. But he is going to be great long term. He's going to be a great entrepreneur. That's not the case. He is someone that did something very stupid on purpose with our money and then got caught. And he did it for years. So there's no question in my mind that if he can create something like this and he can grow it, that he knew exactly what he was doing. You don't see many multi-billion-dollar Ponzi's where the people don't know what they're doing. That's just, you can't grow to be that big unless you are purposely doing it. And he also was the spokesperson in Washington. He gave a lot of money to different political parties. So I'm wondering, just curious, if that might be part of the reason that he is able to get this kind of limelight shed, or this kind of is represented in this way still in traditional media. Twitter has really broken every single part of the story down way faster than traditional media and actually covers it in the right light. He was a fraud that stole billions of dollars from you and me. He is a terrible person. From that fallout, we've gotten more proof of reserves. OKX releases proof of reserves page along with instructions on how to self-audit its reserves. When you go to their website, they supposedly have 102% Bitcoin reserve ratio, 102% ETH reserve ratio, and then 101% USDT reserve ratio. You can see how much that is here. Now, I could be wrong, but when I looked at this, I didn't see the exact wallets, and maybe they're already well known. But I think this is a step in the right direction to see some of their reserves that just came out. So I'll do a little bit more digging. And after the FTX collapse, we've seen so much Bitcoin come out of exchanges. We're at a 4-year low for Bitcoin on exchanges, with a lot of people determining that self-custodying is the way to go for them. And then the last thing I want to talk about is 10,000 Bitcoin moved off of a crypto wallet that was linked to the Mt. Gox hack. So they were split in a couple different wallets now, but this is linking to the Bitcoin exchange BTCE, and they just moved 10,000 Bitcoin worth about 165 million to various exchanges, wallets, and other sources on November 23. They could be looking to unload some of the Bitcoin. Typically, it's not a great thing when some of this Bitcoin that has been locked up for a long time is starting to move, because it just there was no selling pressure from it before. It was just locked up. But hopefully they won't just dump it on the open market or something like that. You can see Bitcoin is looking a little bit better here today. Some other cryptocurrencies are as well, with Solana up about 12%. Now, let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. Let me know if this was helpful. Let me know if you want me to do things like this in the future, just answering some of the simple questions that a lot of the time we get so caught up in the cryptocurrency market, we forget some of the little things like, what is cryptocurrency? What is Bitcoin? And when you're put on the spot, it's really easy to have that just go over your head, and you not being able to answer in an articulate way is not a good thing. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.